welcome back to today's Facebook Live. As I promised you last week, we have our tax expert on with us today, and I'll introduce her in just 1 second. But first, I want to tell you about this week's topic. So, if we e-file a tax return for you today, March 28th, and the IRS accepts it on April 1st, Monday, April 1st, that does not mean your money is due to the IRS on Monday, April 1st. You have to have the money postmarked by April 15th. So if you have all your 1099s ready and your business use of home and your profit and loss for 2023, if you have everything ready to file your tax return, go ahead, give it to your CPA today. Get rid of that stress. So what led us to today's topic is a conversation that we had last week, Christine and I had with a client. And I want to explain to you that we have 4 types of tax filers, and I'm really curious to know which one you are. But we have the tax filer who will give us all their stuff by February 10th and just happy to have it done and put it behind them. And then we have the tax filer who they give us everything, but they wait till the last minute, or they don't want us to file it until April 15th. So they give it to us February 10th, but they beg us not to file it until April 15th. And then we have the client who is got everything ready, and they wait and wait and wait till the very last minute, and then finally they know it's close enough to April 15th. They know that we're going to file it close to April 15th. So they'll give it to us on April 1st and say, here, I had it all ready, but now you can have it. And then we also have the one who has everything ready, and they choose to file an extension because they want to wait as long as possible to pay their tax. Okay, now client 4, the one that has everything ready but chooses to file an extension, is the one that we want to talk to you today about. Now, there's no judgment, there's no shame. At the end of the day, it's your decision. But our job is to educate you and give you all of the choices so that you can make the best decision. So today I'm thrilled to have Christine LeClaire, who's an enrolled agent and our tax expert, joining us today to dive deeper into the topic of extensions. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Christine, and tell the audience hi, and just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I've been at Smashing Numbers for a really long time, and I just love numbers, so that's me.
Love it. And actually, Maddie Brown, when she started Smashing Numbers, the founder of Smashing Numbers, I believe you were the very first employee that she hired, right, Christine?
Yep, I was.
So you have literally been here since the birth of Smashing Numbers.
Yes,
I love it. I absolutely love it. And so let's dive into the topic of tax extensions. Who should consider filing a tax extension?
So an extension is just a time to file, but not for making the payment. So if you still are expecting to owe, they should still make a payment by April 15th. And if you don't have all your information gathered or think you're missing some, you should consider filing an extension.
Oh, perfect. So anybody who really, truly doesn't have their, as Maddie used to say, poop in a pile, if they don't have their information ready, that's who should consider an extension.
Yep.
And that client 4 probably shouldn't file an extension because they're still going to owe, as you said. And if they do, and they know they're going to owe, they should at least make a payment.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Thank you. And so why do some people opt for filing an extension even when they have their documents ready?
Some people think that they can delay payment, but there will be penalties for delaying that payment because, yeah.
Oh, so that takes me into my next question, definitely, is so what are the consequences for filing an extension? Why, if they have their stuff ready and they think it's going to delay payment, but it's like it's just an extension of time filing, like you said. But then what are the consequences?
If you owe, you will incur interest and penalties on what is due, however long after the 15th of April you make that payment.
Ooh, penalties and interest both?
Yep.
Oh, so we definitely want them to be like that type one. Like if you know you owe, the sooner they file, the better then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they
Yes.
know for sure what they're going to owe. I think that as a tax preparer myself, I can say what I see, and I would love to know your what you see on this, Christine. But I see so many people that are anxious and fearful that they're gonna owe, and they have this story made up in their head of how much they owe. And then we get done with their tax return, and it actually was not as bad as they thought. Have you ran into that, or what do you see on that?
Yep, I have ran into that quite often, and then it's just a matter of putting everything in and just looking at it, and once you know, you can have a relief and figure out the next steps on how to pay it if you can't pay it all.
That relief. And that is exactly what Christine and I are going to talk about next week. We could go on, and we want to respect your time, and we just want to keep you here for a little bit today. But we definitely want you to come back next Thursday because we are going to talk about that. If you cannot afford the tax you owe, we will talk about that. We're going to talk about some things that you can do, but the main thing is that extensions are not always a good thing. But if they need them, Christine, if they need an extension, and that's the decision they make, can you walk us through the process of filing a tax extension?
You let your tax professional know you want to file an extension and they will file one for you. And they'll need some information if they don't already have it, like some personal information. And then if you are doing it yourself, you are able to go to the IRS website and file one on their website too.
Oh, that's great information. Thank you for sharing that, Christine. And so, what advice do you have for individuals who find themselves in need of a tax extension?
That it'll be okay and filing extension is okay, and you can help ensure you're able to gather, you can file one to help ensure you're able to gather all your information. And also just keep in mind there could be penalties and interest or amounts due, and paying in amount with the extension, even if it's not the full amount, just paying any sort of amount with it will help reduce the penalties and interest.
I love that, Christine. Thank you so much for clarifying that it is okay to file an extension, but if you don't have to, then we don't advocate for it. But if you need to, of course we got your back. We'll advocate. We'll do an extension for you, no problem. So I hope that we were able to educate you enough today and bring choices to you so you can make that decision. Now, as I promised, next week, next Thursday, April 4th, Christine will be here live again at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are going to talk about if you don't have the money to pay the tax that is due. And we're going to talk about how to pay that money throughout the year. Also, if you have a little extra time today, right before this, I shared a recent podcast that I was on with Darlene Holly, and it is such an amazing episode that I hope that you have 15 minutes to watch it. But if you have any questions for Christine from this week to next week, please post them in the comments. We are here for you. Christine, do you have anything else to say before we end this great meeting?
Um, I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Well, happy Thursday, everybody, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.